Hey guys, Chris Dunn here, aka the Boogie Man. Last week's episode was talking about our racing at Hope, Florida. This week's episode, it's, a good tech tip. It just ain't on drag cars. If you have a hot rods sit a lot. They don't get drove. Sometimes it may be a month or two or a couple of months before you drive them. You really need to do tire maintenance. Tire maintenance means you check the date codes on the tire, check for dry rot, check for all kinds of things. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about these drag cars. The drag cars especially, the rubber don't like to sit, number one, at a flat spot. Number two, it's a softer compound, so it's not as durable. The other thing is it gets old, it gets hard, and you lose traction and you just won't go when you need to go. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to read the tires and the date codes. I'm going to show you some simple common sense things that some guys say, I already know that. Well, good. If you already know it, you got to pay attention to the video. First thing is, on all these tires, Mickey Thompson, these are Moroso Front Runner fronts. These are Mickey Thompson, which, hey, Mickey Thompson, hook a brother up. You know what I'm saying? We love you tires. Date code's right here. You'll notice it. One reason you'll know it's the date code, it's not raised. The letters are impregnated into the rubber where they change it when they're stamping it. The other letters are raised up. The little letters that are raised up, like how much pressure to put in your tire and all that. The date code typically is the one that's impressed into the rubber. 4 last numbers of the number is what matters. These slicks here are actually a little newer than that, I think. I'll need to check the code. Like I said, you just keep spinning it around, then you're going to find the impression. Actually, sometimes on a Mickey Thompson, they're on the back side. So let's turn it around. And it's going to be on the back side, and it is. All right. Back side of the tire. Here it is right here. Like I said, I always look for the impressions. It's not raised, it's impression. All right, this one here is 32 of 17. That's an old tire. Okay, guys, when you're reading these date codes, remember, the most important thing is the last 4 digits of the code. What the last 4 digits is, the first of the last 4 is the week number. The last 2 is the year number. For example, this one right here is 3718. That means that tire was produced in the 37th week of 2018. Actually, that's some old tires. Mickey Thompson, help us, we need some new tires. In fact, the durometer on these are like really bad. So, but they 60 foot like awesome. Anyway, that's what you need to look for. These tires get about 2-3 years old. Man, I'm telling you, it's about time to really looking at buying you a new set of tires. The slicks are probably really crucial for traction, but not as dangerous. Front tires, on the other hand, you need to really inspect them tires when they get age on for weather cracks, dry cracks, dry cracks and weather cracks, same thing. These tires right here, we're talking about dry cracks. You can see that these have some dry cracks in them, but let me tell you why. These tires right here are the original tires off the front of the Boogie Man. And the date code is 37 of 13. We're in 2021. These tires was made at the latter part of 2013, so that makes them, 8 years old? So I would say these tires probably are not safe to really race on or drive on. I actually keep them for mock-up and stuff like that. You need to really look over them, make sure there ain't no cuts in them, because when one of these goes out when you're going down the track, it's gonna be a bad day. You're gonna tear a bunch of shit up, it's gonna cost you a bunch of money, might even take your life. We don't like that, you know what I mean? We don't see you drag racing next time. Same thing again, they've got an impression in them. Remember, the date code typically is the numbers that's impressed in the rubber, not raised. So look for the numbers that's impressed in the rubber. This one right here, 32 of 18, 32nd week of 2018. Damn, we got some old tires on this bad boy. So once you've kind of looked your tires over, I've got a durometer gauge here. So we've got our little durometer gauge out, like I said, Summit, Jegs, local race shop, a lot of people's got them. Basically, it's got a little needle in it, and you can see how it moves the needle. What you want to do is push down and hold. That's at 40. That's at 50, 50, 55, kind of settling, 55 or 50, 45 is coming down. All right, now, you really want this consistent, but just depending on how much burnouts you do or big long burnouts, you know, you want the durometer to be as consistent as you can. This tire's so old, this tire's probably really bad. You know, this would be a good mock-up tire. We could treat this tire, making, you know, get a few more passes out of it. But this is really just a spare set in case we blow a tire. So that's stuff you need to check. And then here's another thing. When you get a new set of slicks in, read this and record it. So you first read it, pump it up now, get it on your rim, read it, write it down. Keep an eye on it. As these tires harden up, you may say, why is my 60 foot falling off? You can pull your durometer gauge out, go and check the tire and say, oh, I see why my tire's starting to harden up. And you're gonna lose some traction, or possibly lose some traction, which would hurt you 60 foot. So, you know, be sure, get you one of these things. They're not expensive. Keep an eye on your tires, keep your eye on your weather cracking, and stay safe. A lot of you dirt track guys, roundy round guys, this is their tool right here now. Them guys will have it. This is a durometer gauge. What's durometer? Durometer is how we measure hardness of rubber, all right? Where if you are a machinist or this, or Rockwell gauge is how we check hardness of steel. A durometer gauge is how we check hardness of rubber. Like this slick right here, I checked it just the other day. It's a little hard. We really need new slicks. We was 35 here, 40 here, and closer to center, we got 50. So durometer's getting harder and harder and harder because the tire's got age on it. Plus, we do them big burnouts and the center gets hotter, so it gets a little harder. Check your durometer. Make sure you want to try to make sure it's good and even across here. If not, I'll go ahead and tell you, they make some treatments you can put. If you can't afford a new set of tires, talk to some guys. They make some treatments you can to re-soften up the rubber a little bit, maybe get you another season out of them, or buy you some new tires. Rims. Now, another thing, doing maintenance on rims. Look at these rims. We use a lot of screwing tires in. Make sure to look for cracks. Make sure to look around the screw holes. Make sure there ain't no crack and the bead, you know, the lip's not cracking. You don't want the rims to start cracking out and you start putting a lot of horsepower to them. Inspect the back, inspect the front. You know, while you're doing it, check your lug nuts. Make sure none of your spacers is cracked and stuff like that. And I know you're probably thinking, man, this is just common sense stuff. But I'm gonna ask you, when's the last time you checked your tires? It's just so common sense. When's the last time that you've inspected your tires on your drag car or your hot rod that you've had built for 10 years that I bet you ain't put a set of tires on the last 10 years? So there you go. It probably needs a new set of tires if you go look at it hard enough. Remember, inspect your rims, inspect your lug nuts, look for cracks and all of that. Inspect your tires real good, especially the ones that steer the car. That's probably the most important. We need to steer, not hit walls and cones and shit. That's the tire. Make sure you really look over the steer tires very, very good. It's like a big truck. Steer tires, most important thing. Stay tuned. We also got an awesome episode coming up where we're going to teach you how to radius a wheel well on a gasser. We've had a guy ask us about it. We're going to do it. I've acquired a new Nova. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all this is gonna take about a year or two to build. It's gonna be something special, but it's a new gasser. So you just got hit. Yes, the Boogie Man's building a new gasser for me personally. Gonna be a different gasser though. You ain't ever seen a gasser like this. I'll go ahead and tell you the name. It's the Boogie Man 2. All right, we'll never get rid of this bad boy and she's still gonna race. This is another car that we're gonna do some different type of racing with. You're gonna love it, but she's gonna be straight axle and she's gonna be badass. Chris Dunn, AKA the Boogie Man. Look your tires over. I've got a durometer gauge here. I'm gonna step out of frame for a second, boys and girls. You can get these from Summit. What we didn't talk about a while ago is the wear dots. These little holes here, and I call them wear dots, but they're really little wear holes. But you take a gauge and they make a gauge you buy and you put down in this hole. And what that does is tell you how much slick is left and is it time to change the tires or not. And thank you, that's my cell phone just went off. We're gonna have to let it quit ringing so before we keep talking. $45, $50. My tire's rough too. Two last numbers is the year, and the two previous numbers before that is the month. There's 52 months in a year. There's actually 52 months in a year. All right, so how this goes is like this one right here is 31 of 18. That means it was the 31st month of 2018.
52 weeks, not 52 months.
Oh, me. Nah, I'm the one that's a dumbass. Hey guys, there's 52 weeks in a year. Oh, I gotta go back a while. Hold on.